What is up, everybody? It's your boy Doody back again with another video, and this time we're taking a look at our boy DSP's daily rap video after a day of, well, 9/11 tributes, fallout from the Charlie Kirk assassination, and of course for Phil, huge support. That's right, that's the highlight of Phil's day, is that a couple whales came out last night and dropped some huge cash on Phil and supported the Gears of War playthrough. Really nothing much, I tuned in and out throughout the day. It was a somber day for Doody 9/11. So really wasn't too much into the vortex yesterday. But today's a new day. We're back at it. We're gonna have some fun, and we're even streaming today at 9:30. It should be a lot of fun. So let's see what Phil had to say on the daily wrap. Hopefully he can catch Doody up on his shenanigans.
Everybody, welcome to the Daily Wrap. Today was Thursday, September 11th, 2025, and today was a pretty wild day. But first, obviously, because it is September 11th, we took a moment of silence, to honor those who had lost their lives, both those who were involved in the World Trade Center bombing, the World Trade Center terror attack, and the Pentagon terror attack, but also the first responders who had become either injured, sick, or lost their lives as a result of them directly helping those who were the victims of that attack on September 11, 2001. After we had that moment, we basically got into our usual stuff today. So,
okay, all right. Okay, I'm gonna sound a bit douchey here. I am and petty, but I think I should be douchey and petty here. So right here, literally, what did Phil take? How much time did Phil take to address the 9/11 incident and his tribute on this daily rap? Literally talked about it for maybe 20 seconds, right? And then moved on with his business. He did the same exact thing during his stream. Now, okay, I know Phil is not a political streamer, completely understand that, but I mean, if you're gonna bring up a tragic event like 9/11, especially on the anniversary, maybe, just maybe, you might want to talk a little bit about it. You might not want to dedicate simply 2 minutes to it, which is what he did yesterday. I mean, of course, he came on stream and he said, all right, guys, well, let's get this out of the way. It's 9/11. We need to address it, because if I don't address it, I'm going to sound very insensitive and people are going to shit all over me. Of course, it becomes very mechanical for Phil. It's not simply because, he's reflecting on the day. It is a national tragedy. Yes, it happened 24 years ago, but for many people, it feels like it happened yesterday, right? So what did Phil do? Phil, of course, just made the normal platitude of 9/11, spent 20 minutes on it, and then just literally just bounced into talking about support. And if you doubt me, all right. If you want to doubt Doody, here, let's go to Doody, because it was one of the things that I captured on my for some of my videos yesterday. So I want to play this. So here it is. This is DSP's touching tribute to 9/11. Let's listen to it, because I don't want people thinking that I'm just calling him out because I'm a DSP detractor. Let's hear his own words.
hey everyone, and welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, September 11th, 2025. And therefore, before we get into any kind of positive festivities, before we start talking about all the stuff here on my channel, we should take a moment out and a moment away to remember the events of September 11th, 2001, particularly those of us here who live in the United States and lived through it. A day of tragedy, a day of misery, a day of shock, horror, a day that actually changed the way that many Americans have to go about their daily lives. I mean, particularly travel has been so different ever since. And therefore, let's all just, for one moment, think about the lives that were lost at the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. But not only that, but the other half of the story, those who were first responders, those who showed up to aid those who were victims of the attack and also were victims of all kinds of debilitating disease and problems over the years. So, never forget, right? And, I'm sure today there'll be a lot of discussion about it.
Monetized it.
And, it's warranted. What else can you say, right? Okay. So let's go. Let's get some support rolling, please. If you like the content, you like the podcast, you like everything that's been going on recently, you like everything I just mentioned, please support today. Let's get some stuff rolling. We'll get some shout outs going. We'll get that positivity going. And therefore, when I start playing the actual JRPG, I don't have to be like, wow, it's a ghost town. Okay?
There you have it, folks. That is Phil's 9/11 tribute. Now, some might say, well, you're being a little petty or whatever. No, I don't think I am. And yes, there was a jump cut because it is a YouTube short. He literally said the support thing right after he made the 9/11 tribute, which of course he spent a good whopping 20 seconds to discuss. The other thing he was doing was he was deleting people talking about it. That's another thing. Him or his moderators were deleting people making comments. Some people had posted stuff about Al Qaeda and stuff like that, and the 9/11 events. And his moderators and Phil were going in there and deleting those comments. So, I'm complaining because he went on to talk about how, it's one of those days where people want to talk about it, and that's perfectly fine. And that's the reason why he decided to make his statement on it. So you should allow people to talk about it, Phil. They want to express their feelings. As long as they stay within the terms of service, it should be perfectly fine. But no, you were too concerned and worried about money and support. You wanted to make sure that the focus wasn't on 9/11, but that it was focused on $911. That's right. That's what you needed to make sure. I mean, I'm shocked that this scumbag didn't say, you know what, in honor of 9/11, let's raise $911 for the victims. For the victims of 9/11. He's just such a scumbag. Everything he does, it's just centered around money, support, and it's disgusting. I mean, I would have preferred him not even to mention it, or say, you know what, I'm monetized. I'm going to talk about money. I'm going to talk about support. I'm going to do a 9/11 tribute video, which I'm not going to monetize. I'm going to post it on my channel. You guys can see it. I will share my views, my story. He can pretty much tell us what happened to him on 9/11, which essentially Al Qaeda ruined his date night, his date lunch with his mom, and he wasn't able to go shopping. And of course, that's why he was pissed off and upset over the terrorist attacks. Phil, you could have did something like that. But no, you decided to just throw in 20 seconds and mention 9/11 and then go right into a rant about support and beg nonstop. You would think, like, remember when his bunny died and he was in such mourning that he couldn't beg that day? Maybe these are one of the days, Phil, where you just don't beg. You just say, you know what, it's 9/11. I shouldn't beg. I shouldn't seem like an ungrateful douchebag and talk about money, money, money. You know what I mean? The focus should just be having fun and trying to get people's minds off of the tragic events, not focus on goals and what you're eating and so on. Anyway, that's my spiel on that. It's quite annoying. He's very annoying. I felt like I wanted to bring it up because, this isn't something small. This isn't like, I don't know. This isn't like fucking Veterans Day, which it should be respected as well. You know what I mean? It should be a tribute. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like a Veterans Day, you say, oh, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans, and you kind of move on with your day. This is something tragic that impacted pretty much everyone's life during that period of 2001 and going forward. But of course, Phil wants to focus on how this inconvenienced his life. Oh yeah, it's a tragedy. We have to go through security checkpoints for traveling. We can't wear shoes. We have to get a real ID. Oh yes, the tragedy that this caused us, where it slightly inconvenienced us in our travel. Good God. All right, and then he's going to talk about whatever else. He's going to talk about Suikoden, which I don't care about. That was super boring. He didn't hit the goal for Suikoden, of course. And then I think he talked about Gears of War. Let's see what he had to say about Gears of War.
15 minutes almost, like 10, 15 minutes. I got to a door, and the door is a glitched door. You can't cover around it and fire. You can just sit at the door and you get frozen.
Oh, yeah. I saw a little bit of the Gears of War playthrough. He's terrible, like always. It takes him forever just to get through anything. And of course, he's here complaining and saying the game is glitched, where he couldn't duck. This again is Elden Ring. Remember when he played the Elden Ring DLC? Was it the DLC? Where he tried to hide. Oh, no, it was the DLC. It was the new Elden Ring that came out, that second, whatchamacallit, where he decided to hide behind a wall between two doors to get cover, and he ended up getting killed because that strategy doesn't work. He's trying to do the same thing with Gears of War here, and that doesn't work. So let's see what else he has to say.
And you can't fire. So enemy walked right through, shotgunned me. I was like, oh. So you'll get a kick out of it. Anyway, great audience for it, and we had 2 to 3 particular people who were huge supporters tonight.
One whale.
Okay, huge. I'm not kidding. We raised over 3 goals of support tonight.
Oh, yes, that's right. We almost got to 911. We almost got to $911. We got halfway there, folks. 450. Oh, God, this fucking dude. Yeah, it was one whale that came out and dropped some major support. I have no clue who he was. I didn't capture his name. I know one dent came in and dropped a $50 tip for something, or super chat, and then, you know, the whale came in and dropped all the money. I guess he wanted to try to make sure Phil got that $911 for 911 goal. I'm not sure.
Yeah, on a random gear stream. Who saw that coming, right? And it was like 3 people. It was actually
I'm pretty
one
sure
person
you
did a
did,
lot.
Phil.
One person did
These
one big
people
super chat,
email you
and then
and
there was a few
chat
people
with you
who
on
banded
Discord.
together and we're doing tips to super chats and subs, and it added up to 3 goals. All right, so already we're at 3 out of 10 goals for Katsu Burger, the return on DSP Tries It. It was an outstanding night. Lots of engagement, lots of chatting, just a good amount of time, and a lot of rage at me losing. So people,
Yeah, a lot. You know how many people were watching that video? 140 people were watching your stream, Phil. And you know who was the #1 chatter in there? It was Nightbot. Nightbot pretty much accounted for about 50% of your engagement on that stream, brother. No one was watching that. But again, it doesn't matter as long as, you know, Phil hits his tip goals and exceeds it. That's all that matters, right, Phil? Anyway, he talks about what he's going to do today. He talks about his feasting with the pig. I started watching it. I was going to record it, but you know what? The day, you know, I was feeling a little somber yesterday with 9/11, everything going on in our country. And I just, you know, Phil, you know, Phil's the last thing on my mind, right? So anyway, that's all I really have. It's not much to go here. I am streaming today at 9:30. It should be fun. We'll catch up on all of Phil's antics, and yeah, we should have a good time, brother. Let's move forward with positivity. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.